JBN, we keep you informed. Cabby found dead in Westmoreland Canefield, goats tied to his leg. The body of a man was found in Canefields in Westmoreland on Monday. The deceased has been identified as 38-year-old Kerrick and Marley Grant, otherwise known as Schoolers, a taxi driver of Charlene District, Savlamar in the parish. Reports are that Grant's body was found face down in a cane field with a gunshot wound to the head and 4 goats, one of them dead, tied to his leg. The body was seen lying behind a white Nissan station wagon motor car. The Westmoreland police are investigating. Man shot dead after reportedly pointing gun at off-duty cop. A man was shot dead after he reportedly pointed a gun at an off-duty police officer in St. Thomas on Monday. A .357 Magnum revolver containing 3.357 mm cartridges was reportedly seized after the incident, police sources reported. The deceased has been identified as Garfield Wright, otherwise called Foodie, a 43-year-old resident of Middleton District in the parish. The Corporate Communications Unit CCU, the police's information arm, reported that the shooting occurred at approximately 2:30 a.m. on Monday. No further details were provided of the incident. The Independent Commission of Investigation, INDICOM, has launched a probe into the development. Cops charged in connection with Shedwin Park shooting to apply for bail. The 2 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF, now disbanded unit, Mobile Reserve, who were charged in connection with a deadly shooting in Shedwin Park, St. Catherine in April, are to apply for bail during a hearing scheduled for December 16. The date was set recently when the policemen appeared before the Home Circuit Court. Corporal Kirk Fraser and Corporal Ramon Scott were taken into custody 7 months ago and charged with murder of Sheldon Daly, otherwise called Junior Biggs. Daly was shot dead in a car park at a dance in Shedwin Park on April 28. It is alleged that he was shot by the policemen. Following the shooting, a member of the police team died in a crash during a high-speed chase on Brunswick Avenue. U.S. Ambassador warns Jamaica to tread carefully with two-headed dragon. In stinging criticism of the Holness administration's warming relationship with Beijing, United States Ambassador Donald Tapia has urged the government to be wary of China's deepening footprint in Jamaica, citing the Asian country's lavish investment pitch as predatory and dangerous. Tapia, who arrived in Jamaica in August, has shelved the diplomatic astuteness of recent U.S. ambassadors, even using his Twitter account as a launching pad for invective against Chinese neo-imperialism at least 4 times last week, much in the mold of his boss, President Donald Trump. China is a dragon with 2 heads. If China came to Jamaica, presumably, with no strings attached, then why did you negotiate 1,200 acres of the most prime real estate with them? Because they need a return on their investment, the ambassador said. There is no way that you'll be able to fund that highway in 50 years. The negotiation was 1,200 of the most beautiful acres on the water that you gave to China, and they said they would develop it, he added, referring to a land swap deal agreed under the predecessor Simpson-Miller administration. Tapia also cast China financing at a rate of 2% through its Export-Import Bank as contrived, arguing that no bank in capitalist societies offered such uncompetitive rates. He also denounced as unfair the Jamaican government's concessions to China Arbor Engineering Company and other construction firms aligned to Beijing that engage in major infrastructural projects, a missive that will hit the Holness administration and find favor with local engineers and developers who have lamented that they are often unable to bid for contracts because the Chinese have a leg up on the market. The U.S. ambassador scolded China for its appetite as part of a geopolitical game of chess centered, he said, on extracting natural resources with ulterior motives, including in a hemisphere long viewed to be America's backyard. When China, go into a country, they go after 2 things, the minerals and the ports. I could tell you horror stories of countries where they have taken over the ports because those countries could not pay for their investment. China usually has a great propaganda story as to what has happened, Tapia said. When America invests in the energy and education sectors, we are building a long-lasting effect and will contribute to stability and help to stem the brain drain. Those who talk about free speech, free enterprise, and human rights are forgetting that those 3 things go together with Jamaicans who are freedom-loving people, and one day the chickens will come home to roost. So take all you can from them, but remember that the West is standing there with you. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who returned on the weekend from an 8-day tour of China, in which he engaged in investment talks with President Xi Jinping and was regaled with musical performances and city tours, is expected to give details today in the House of Representatives on his travels, including plans for increased logistical and trade ties. Meanwhile, Curtis Ward, former Jamaican ambassador and deputy permanent representative to the United Nations, said that America had telegraphed its displeasure with Sino-Jamaican pact since the visit by then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson in February 2018. We shouldn't be surprised. It has been going on for 2 years. Since that time, clearly Jamaica has not paid attention to what the U.S. has said, but has forged ahead with its developments, he said. But Ward, who is a professor at the University of the District of Columbia, said that Washington should state whether it would fill the vacuum if Jamaica were to pull back from China. Jamaica has benefited from billions of dollars in Chinese investment over the last decade, ranging from the divestment of the sugar industry, forays into bauxite mining, to major infrastructural projects such as the Edward-Seaga Highway and road expansion in urban and rural centers. Chinese loans represents about 3.9% or $78 billion of Jamaica's $2 trillion budget. On Sunday, Jamaica House announced that the government would not take out any new loans with the Chinese, preferring instead to pursue private-public partnerships and facilitate direct firm-to-firm pacts. What is quite instructive is that the message is reaching the Prime Minister. The statement clarifying that we are not going to have China coming in with loans, changing the dynamics, said Ward in reference to Holness' decision to put a pause on loans. Ward said, however, that Jamaica should not cap out to foreign powers. This is in our national interest while we're doing this. We are smart enough to know what's good for us. I don't think we have the guts to say these things. Either you are a sycophant or you stand on your feet. I am not saying Jamaica should pick a fight with the U.S., but Jamaica should speak power to the U.S., said Ward. 6,114 suspected dengue cases, 44 deaths since 2019, says Tufton. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton yesterday told Parliament that since 2019 there have been 10,559 notifications of dengue cases in Jamaica. Of that number, 6,114 have been classified as suspected, presumed, or confirmed as at November 7. Tufton said that there have been 44 deaths, adding that people aged 5 to 14 years old represent the group with the highest number of deaths. He pointed out that the ministry's blood transfusion center is challenged to keep up with the demand for blood platelets to treat the serious or severe dengue cases. The blood bank, he said, will continue to strive to increase its blood supply, and Tufton appealed to members of the public who are able to donate blood. Additionally, Tufton disclosed that the Cabinet has approved $1 billion over the next 3 months to enhance the existing vector control program. He indicated that an estimated $581 million have been spent on the country's dengue response. Of the $1 billion in new money, $469 million will be to buy vehicles, foggers, tablets for water treatment, and to pay vector control workers. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Sky, told Tufton that the government has acted too late in the dengue fight. No excuse for holding Doc hostage, says Tufton. A probe has been launched into the whereabouts of security guards on Sunday as a confrontation between People's National Party Councillor Kerry Douglas and Dr. Judith Francis Bogle at the Bustamante Hospital for Children resulted in the shutdown of the Accident and Emergency Unit on Sunday morning. The altercation, which forced the closure of the unit between 1 and 3 a.m., occurred after the doctor determined that Douglas' 8-month-old son Zion, who had a fever, was a non-emergency case. Douglas, with son in hand, burst into Francis Bogle's office while she attended to another patient, blocked the doorway and demanded to know what was wrong with her child, a situation Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said was unfortunate. Tufton says that while he understands the emotional connection between parents and their children, holding medical staff hostage is inexcusable. He suggested that one worker feeling threatened could impact workflow and morale. I don't think there's an excuse for holding staff ransom and hostage, which is what the report indicated. That is unacceptable, and it really should be rejected in terms of the kind of practice and habit, Tufton said. I have asked for further determination on the matter. More specific, for example, is where the security guards were. We do pay a lot of money for security to be present all the time. I need to know what were the procedural breaches, and if there were none, the parent would have to be held accountable. He said patients should bear in mind that the public health system is operating with doctors and nurses who are extremely stressed, especially at this time of year with dengue and flu. To eliminate instances of children having to wait hours on end before receiving care, Dr. Michelle Ann Richards-Dawson, senior medical officer at the facility, reminded parents that only cases of emergency should be brought to the accident and emergency unit. Since 2016, the ministry has embarked on an initiative to slash wait times at the facility. However, during heightened periods of dengue and flu, there has been an influx of ill children, many of them non-emergency cases. When the hospital was visited, some parents still harbored concerns over long wait times. Crystal, whose 3-year-old daughter's cerebral palsy, had been waiting since 9 a.m. before being able to leave the facility around 5 p.m. "Them big and slack up here," she said, venting her frustration. Felicia said she had been at the hospital since Sunday night and was told that her 1-year-old son's case was not an emergency. She slept at the hospital to see another doctor Monday morning, and that practitioner gave her a positive response. "I feel really bad. Suppose when Pitney did dead last night. What will not go tell me, say?" JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.